Hello again, and welcome to SEC Basketball Predictions. In this video, we will be predicting Vanderbilt's road trip to Florida, along with Oklahoma going to Auburn. Yes, Kentucky and Ole Miss also play the same night. We've got that one in a separate video. Let's start in Gainesville, where Vanderbilt and Florida both come off Saturdays they would love to forget. Both had just awful games. Vanderbilt falling by 30 at Oklahoma, Florida by about 20 in Knoxville. This game tips off at 6 Central on the SEC Network. Max Barr, start us off. What catches your eye in this matchup?
This is going to be probably a double-digit spread, which at first glance you think, man, Vandy, the same team that just beat Kentucky and Tennessee, that Vandy is going to be a double-digit underdog? Team that just is scrappy, does all the little things. Tyler Tanner, McLaughlin, they're going to be a double-digit underdog? Well, when you look at Vandy's last few road games, it dropped 3 in a row on the road. At Missouri by 9, at Alabama by 16, and then at Oklahoma by 30. So at first glance, you think, man, the Vandy team that's on the, getting on the right track here under Byington, how could they be a double-digit underdog? You look a little bit deeper into it, the home road splits, and you can see the Commodores have had a tough time traveling past few weeks.
Well, and to add to that, as you noted, Florida has been really good at home this season. They have just been a machine, and I know people will point out the Missouri game, but really, if you just look at SEC play, right, they beat Tennessee by 30 at home, Texas by 24 at home, and now Georgia at home by 30. And so, yeah, so you kind of look at the Vanderbilt home and away type games, especially against this kind of caliber of a team in Florida. You look at how good Florida's been, and so you can kind of put the math together and make it understand why, Florida's going to be probably a bit of a sizable favorite here. And I think it's also the bounce back spot for Florida, coming off of a pretty, disappointing performance. There's no other way around it. A 20-point loss at Tennessee against a shorthanded Tennessee team playing without two of their, probably top 4 players, I guess if you want to put it, or however, whatever order you want to put it in. So I think that is going to be something where that's something else. Think about this. If you would go ahead and just tee this up right now. Think about Florida's losses this season. At Kentucky, they turn around and beat Tennessee at home by 30. Home against Missouri, they turn around and beat a good Texas team by 24. Now they're in a spot for what's next after Tennessee. They host a Vanderbilt team that just lost by 30 on the road. Interesting.
So to summarize, long shot for Vanderbilt in this spot. I think Ken Palm has got this as a 14-point game. It does indeed. We do not have a line as we're doing this Monday morning. So in these spots, I like to look at if something has happened we did not expect. What does that look like? I think this is what it looks like. When Vanderbilt is playing well and pulling upsets, it is forcing turnovers. It is getting easy buckets, and it's getting good play from Jason Edwards, who's hard to stop. And it is also getting good shooting from Tyler Nickel out on the wing, who's had some hot games lately. Max, to me, that is, if Vanderbilt is to pull the upset in the O'Connell Center, it looks a lot like that.
Yeah, I kind of look back to the Florida-Missouri game and our guys at the Florida Basketball Hour. They were all over that. They were worried about that game a lot, even though it was at home. I mean, you're talking preseason. They had that Missouri game circled. I don't like the way that this sets up. Missouri switches defenses a ton. They've got guys that can shoot, and then what happens? Caleb Grill hits a few early threes, and the defense has got to get extended way out up on the three-point line, and Missouri starts getting everything easy, and the whole game changes. Vanderbilt has a guy that can do that. They have 2 guys, actually, with Edwards and Nickel. So if you want just to put a kind of a path to victory or a path to making it real close for Vanderbilt, go look at what Missouri did. Go switch defenses every 3 minutes, make life hell for the Florida guards. Vandy's got the guards defensively to do that. And hey, you've got guys, you got microwave guys outside that Edwards, Nickel, get one of them going on a hot night. The defense gets extended, and hey, you're on the same path to victory that Missouri used. So if you want to look at it from a Vanderbilt angle, I think there's that.
Well, and two, if you're Florida, you're like, well, on the surface, it's a good thing. We just saw this team lose by 30 at Oklahoma, but it's also a bad thing because Vanderbilt has not really put together back-to-back stinkers this year. I mean, you can say, okay, well, they lost back-to-back games against Mississippi State at home and at Missouri. I didn't think they played that bad against Mississippi State, and then losing at Missouri by 9, there's no shame in that. They didn't play bad there. So you were like, okay, well, they're going to bounce back with a pretty dedicated and focused, effort here, you would think, for Mark Byington's team. And so if they do work the magic, as Max said, try to copy some of the things that Missouri did, they have the personnel to be able to try to do it at least. Now, can they work it as effectively? Maybe not, but they still have the personnel to do it. And so, I think that's an interesting point because I think if you add those things together, it wouldn't shock any of us if Vanderbilt is competitive here with a shot in this game. But I also think it's just you do look at Florida in both bounce back spots this season and at home. If you combine those two things together, Florida's been pretty remarkable in those spots. So
Picks.
Well, I got just one more thing as a matchup thing, and that's Devin McLaughlin versus this entire front court for Florida. And you look at I just put out some offensive rebounding numbers on my Twitter. Chinyulu's top 5 in this league in offensive rebounding. Condon has been hot and cold. Kind of has a good game, then a quiet game, a good game, then a quiet game. And Tommy Haw is just as consistent as ever. One of the better offensive rebounders in this league. You get that in waves. And Ken McLaughlin and Carey, we've seen them do it before. Be able to step up to these, maybe you'd call them superior front courts when you're talking both physically but just kind of overall the numbers they put up. Ken McLaughlin and Carey go to Gainesville and hold off the waves of front court pressure that Florida's going to put on them. As much as the backcourt is a factor in this game, I feel like on the road that just relentless offensive rebounding from Florida might wear on the Vandy front court here. I wanted to get that in before, but I am ready to get to some picks. I'm not gonna try to make it too interesting. I'm picking Florida here at home. I think they bounce back off of a real poor performance on the road. Bit of a humbler because the first road game you go put up 100 points at Kentucky. The other team just ended up scoring more. Home against Missouri, you get down early, but then you feel like you win the next 30 minutes of that game and had a chance to win there. This one was the first one where it's like, that wasn't good. That was not good. I think they bounce back here at home.
Yeah, Max, you stole my thunder. I was going to pick Florida for 3 reasons. It's those 3 bigs. I just think that's a tough matchup. McLaughlin has had a terrific year, and Carey has flashed. But that's just too much size from too many places. Give me the Gators.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. Usually I come up with some, convoluted diatribe here to make it sound, exciting. But I'll be honest, I don't have that for this one. So I apologize to everyone out there, or you're welcome, whichever way you want to look at it. But yeah, I'm picking Florida.
Yep. All right, 8 Central, also on the SEC network. Oklahoma, coming off a big win over Vanderbilt, goes to Auburn, where nobody is winning in Neville Arena, and frankly, Auburn isn't losing on the road either. I think the recipe for Oklahoma here is offense. Jalen Moore, really good player. And, of course, we know about Jeremiah Fears. We've talked about how they get scoring from Bryson Goodine on some nights or Duke Miles. They've got some other role players too. But I don't think Oklahoma will have seen anything quite like the Auburn Tigers. And to be frank, who has?
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Oklahoma, no question about it. It's going to be tough for anybody that goes into Neville, but you look at kind of what Oklahoma's done on the road this year, and they're getting better. Don't get me wrong. They're getting better, but the road just hasn't been kind to them. Just a few weeks ago, losing by double digits at Georgia. It's going to be tough sledding to, if they weren't able to get it done at A&M, they weren't able to get it done at Georgia, weren't able to get it done at Alabama, we're able to get one by 3 points at Arkansas, but It's just the trends of Oklahoma in their true road games. They didn't play a single true road game in the non-conference. So in their true road games in SEC play, I haven't seen anything that points me to say, hey, this team can play on the road here. They could maybe look at what Tennessee just did and try to, copy some of that. I don't see that.
Well, it's interesting because their offensive numbers as a whole are so good. But then it's like you look at some of the performances, and like Max mentioned, I mean, they're 1-3 in SEC play on the road. 79 points at Alabama. Okay, but you got beat by 28. 62 points at Georgia. 65 points at Arkansas. It's a win, but, it wasn't the prettiest win. And then 68, at A&M, which, like I said, no shame. I mean, A&M's a good defensive team and all that, but it's just, you're playing Auburn here. I mean,
yeah.
And Auburn is just a different beast, as we know, this season. And so I think that is certainly something where you look at, like we said, this isn't really that different from a lot of other teams in terms of your play at home versus your play on the road, but it's just, can those offensive numbers, which they have to be good offensively to keep up in this game, can they match that? And that's where, like we said, Auburn defensively is just probably not getting enough credit nationally because they're just so great offensively that the defense isn't getting enough, kind of respect, even though they're a top 10 defensive team or whatever nationally. So, I mean, look, for Oklahoma, it's pretty simple. Lean on Fears, lean on Moore. You need Bryson Godine to come out and go 7-9 from 3. Tell somebody to put an A&M jersey on for Auburn. And Bryson Godine is the Aggies don't want to see him again this season. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But, so I think, that has to be it. Like, it's what we're saying is very basic and fundamental, but it is Oklahoma needs everybody chipping in here offensively in some way, shape, or form because you just feel like Auburn's going to get theirs in this game.
Picks?
What's the great equalizer in college basketball? The reason why you can have your Cinderella, your 16-over-1s, your 15-over-2. I'm going to act like I didn't hear what Blake just said. It's the it's the 3-ball. What is Oklahoma better at than almost every team in the league? The 3-ball. Guess who's number 1 in the league in 3-ball defense? Just happens to be the Fighting Tigers of Auburn. Terrible matchup. I believe the spread's going to be double digits, and yours truly will be on the Auburn side of that. Tigers at home.
Yeah, when I'm looking to find seeds of an upset, I look at the Ken Pom matchup where the red and the green intersect in a favorable way for the underdog. That would be Oklahoma gets to the line a decent amount, and Auburn puts teams on the line a decent amount. But, is that enough to flip it? No. You can't go with anything other than Auburn in the spot.
So maybe the referees could be the equalizer here.
They
if
could
Oklahoma
be.
is able to get to the line a lot. But I joke because that's probably the first thing that most SEC fans would respond with. But look, come on. Everyone knows I'm going to pick Auburn here just because I mentioned Oklahoma on the road offensively has not been the exact same. But I do think this is an interesting game for the reasons of knowing that Oklahoma can score the ball if they get going, right? I mean,
they can.
Look no further than the game they played against Vanderbilt, where they are down, 28-15 with 9 minutes to go in the first half. And so in the final, 30 minutes of the game, they scored 82 points. So now look, Vanderbilt defensively, Auburn defensively, there's a little bit of a gap there. But that's my point, though. If Oklahoma gets hot, don't let them get hot. Because if they get going, shoot the ball well, get to the free throw line, they can definitely make this thing interesting. But it's just they're going to be doing something and probably trying to work a formula that we've not seen teams do this season and be able to beat a team like Auburn, right? Tennessee worked it in a different way. I don't know if this is Oklahoma's not going to be able to work that kind of formula to make it happen here. So I'm picking Auburn.
Just real quick here, because I just want to ask you, what do you think the number of threes Oklahoma's got to hit if they're going to pull this thing off? If they are, what's a
12.
realistic number? 12. Okay, I was thinking somewhere around like it's got to be higher than double digits.
12.
14.
Okay. Or you're even higher.
Hold on a second. You're going, no, 12, and then you're like 14. It's 2. That's 2 extra threes. Are you kidding me?
That's 6
You're gonna
points,
say
buddy.
20. Free throw line,
Okay.
man.
How many times this year has Auburn given up double digits from threes? The opponents made 10 or more. How many times?
Once.
0.
None.
It's never happened.
I thought, okay, no.
You thought it,
Who
I
hit
thought
9?
it happened against Duke as well.
That's
Duke
what I
hit
thought.
9.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Duke hit like eight or something in the first half.
That's right.
Then
That's probably
right?
right. Yeah.
So, yeah, Auburn hasn't allowed double digits from threes the entire year. If Oklahoma's going to do that, I think that's the only way they win.
Well, I'll tell you how you can win. Do you know how you can win? By filling out a bracket in the league at Bracket Bids.
Fill it out.
You can be a winner because you don't have to just fill out a bracket. You take the experience to the next level with Bracket Bids. Enter into the free pick'em contest or start an auction draft league with your friends, family, or coworkers. Everyone starts with the same bidding dollars. Up to you to outwit and outbid your league mates to secure the teams you think will go the distance in the NCAA tournament this season. Choose from multiple scoring models, including the upset bonuses to reward bold picks. None of us are bold here on this video. Track your teams with live in-game scoring and watch the standings shift in real time. Further they advance, the higher you climb the standings. That's how it works. For league play, use the promo code SC16 for 40% off. SC16, 40% off. Download the Bracket Bids app today or visit them at bracketbids.com.
Can't wait to do that. That'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here at Southeastern 16. We'll be recapping these games either Tuesday night or maybe Wednesday morning. Either way, we'll have it for you. We'll be picking the other SEC games this week. To get all that, hit the subscribe button. That is free, and enable your notifications so you know when we do that. For Max Barr and Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. You've been watching more basketball content here at Southeastern 16.